There is a supernatural world that surrounds us, and sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. You'll hear stories about this and so much more right here on Supernatural Confrontations. What I love about the show is it's sometimes we're getting people from over in Europe. Today we have Donna, and she's in Australia. It's just unbelievable. The internet's incredible. And what I love about it is we allow people to give their testimony. And so it's a sounding board. It's a playground where everyone is welcome, as long as it's a supernatural confrontation. So we'll get into this, but first a word from our trusted sponsor. Do you want to take control of your financial future but don't know where to start? Noble Gold Investments understands. Investing in precious metals may sound confusing, but the team at Noble Gold Investments makes it easy. Let's hear from the actual Noble Gold Investments customers. The staff answered all my questions and helped me every step of the way. No pressure sales tactics, just honest guidance. Securing my future is less stressful thanks to Noble Gold's expertise. Folks, don't settle for financial uncertainty. They'll suggest options and see if you can diversify into gold and silver. Right now, Noble Gold Investments is offering a free 5-ounce Silver America the Beautiful bullion coin for qualified accounts. Don't settle for financial uncertainty. Noble Gold Investments has an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau and countless 5-star reviews. Folks, why wait? NobleGold.com, that's noblegoldinvestments.com. Check it out today. Peggy and I have done it, and we are so happy we have. A portion of our savings is in Noble Gold, and we are tickled with the results. That's noblegoldinvestments.com, noblegoldinvestments.com. So Donna joins us from down under, from Australia. Huge time change difference. Donna, welcome to the program. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So let me ask you, just tell us in your own words, what happened?
So as a child, I don't remember specifically any particular date that it started, but I was around 3 or 4 years old. I started seeing this thing in the window of obviously at the house we lived in, and it just continually came, and it was always at meal times. I used to sit in the kitchen and eat my meal, and I started seeing this entity at my parents' window that faced the driveway. And I, as a child, became quite hysterical, and my mother would turn around and say, "There's nothing there, I can't see anything. Keep eating your dinner." But then, of course, I couldn't because I was pointing, going, "Mum, it's there again, it's there again." And so almost every night she had to stand in front of me in the kitchen while I ate my food, and just reassure me that there was nothing there. So I actually termed this little entity Picky Bones.
Interesting.
Because it looked like Bones looking at me through the window. And at that age, 3 or 4, I don't know what bones are. I'm a small child. So if I could describe this thing, it was brown in colour, had a round head, no hair. It was just like, and it wasn't spherically round. It was round on the top and then sort of came under at the bottom, like it was scalloped, and it just had eyes and a big nose. And I could see probably from the waist up, so it was just bones. And it would just stand there and look at me. And I hadn't actually thought too much of this. As I grew, I sort of just put it away. We'll get to why I put it away later, but I hadn't really thought too much about it until I started listening to some of your stuff about other people who had childhood visitations.
Mm-hmm.
People would probably call it, oh, it's just an imaginary friend, but it wasn't imaginary because I wasn't on any hallucinogenic drugs as a 4-year-old. And what I could see, I could see. It wasn't in my head. It was right there. I could swear I could reach out and touch it. So I opened the dialogue with my mum because my mum and I hadn't talked about it for a long time. And we were in the car one day and I said to her, hey, Mum, do you remember Peaky Bones? And she sort of went, yep, I remember Peaky Bones. And I said to her I was trying to remember stuff about it, trying to jog my own memory. And she said to me, oh, don't you remember it used to appear in your bedroom window as well? She said, I had to come in and calm you down. And I know the window that she's talking about because my parents still live in the same house today.
Oh, okay.
And so if it wasn't in the kitchen window, it would come and look at me in the bedroom window and we had to shut the curtains. But I was hysterical. I knew it was still out there. And as a child, it gave me this inherent fear of the dark. Like I would not venture outside, even as I got older, because subconsciously I thought it's still out there.
So what happens next? I mean, as you get older, did it just begin to disappear or what?
So my parents are both Christians, and we spent a lot of time praying about it. But as I became probably 6 or 7, I gave my life to Christ, and I never had another problem with Peaky Bones. But
right.
I was actually walking the other day along the waterfront and listening to one of your shows, and it occurred to me, I think this thing was trying to scope me out. It was just watching me all the time, just watching me. It never came in the house, but it watched me all the time. And as an adult, I've sat back and I've thought, okay, I'm sitting at the bench looking at it through the window and my parents' kitchen is all timber. There's no reflection. It's all timber. There's nothing, it's not a picture. My parents don't have those kinds of pictures. And I could see straight through both windows because they had the double windows, one on top of the other. There was never anything underneath it, and it was only over on the top window where I could literally look through and just see this thing.
Did it ever communicate with you telepathically?
No, all I remember is that it made me hysterical. Like I just couldn't settle. I would sit and have my dinner. I couldn't settle. I was just constantly banging on about Peaky Bones is looking at me. You can see me. And even in my window, like he was disrupting my meals as a child. And then he would disrupt my sleep time. Like I just knew it was out there.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't an every night thing, but it was frequent. And then when I would have to have dinner in the kitchen, I would become hysterical in case he showed up. And, you know, at 3 and 4, you don't really have an understanding of much,
No.
but this I knew.
Right.
I just knew he was out there. But like I said, it gave me this horrid fear of the dark. I just wouldn't go outside.
Wow. Did your parents did they pray against it? I mean, because this is happening on a daily basis, so they must have figured something is going on. Did they war against it or pray against it?
Yeah, they did. I do remember my mum praying and probably my dad, but I'm trying to go back. I haven't actually spoken to my dad about it. Probably it'd have to be 38 years ago that we're going back here. So it's been a long time. I'm in my 40s now. But I just remember this entity. But whenever my parents finally were able to break it, it disappeared.
And that was it. It's never returned. So
it's never returned.
Yeah. So it's not where you are. You've never seen it as an adult, anything like that.
No. But I can remember every detail now as it was back then. I still remember this thing.
Did it ever?
And it just used to stand there and look at me like it would just make you jitter. Like even as an adult, if someone was really odd and they were just standing there just looking at you and they just give you the heebies.
Right. Did you ever see its hand? Did it ever pick up its hand or do anything like that?
No, it just stood there and looked at me.
What was it dressed in? What was the clothing?
Bones.
Just
bones. It was just bones. It was just bone. Like It's almost like when you have a skeletonized person where it has like some sort of skin covering, but it was tight enough I could see pronounced bones in its collarbone. And it would just stand there. It had no mouth, just eyes, and it just seared through you when it looked.
What was on the house? What was on the grounds of the house before the house was built? What was there a
I
burial
actually
ground?
don't know.
Don't know.
But the house has been in our family for quite some time.
Okay.
So it was actually built by my mother's grandfather, and it's
Oh, wow.
been purchased from family down.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Were there any Aborigines? It's a bad word to call them, but were there any natives in the area working for your father? Somehow connected to the family in any way?
No, not that we can ascertain at all.
Right.
I am very, even as an adult, I'm very perceptive to the supernatural. Like I can, it seems to be one of the gifts that God's given me is to discern certain things, and whether or not this entity was aware of that when I was a child, and that's why it had appeared, because it knew that I could see it.
Is there anyone in the family that was a Mason or practiced voodoo or Ouija boards or tarot cards or fortune telling, anything like that?
Not to my knowledge, but I know that our neighbour on the back corner, he was a practicing Mason.
Okay, well
Yeah.
that's a link, probably not a strong one, but that is a link. What about any other neighbors around that would be dabbling into things?
No, not to my knowledge. It's quite a little bit of a mystery, but I don't know how much you heard before we froze. But having as a Christian today, I am very quite perceptive to things of the supernatural. Like I have, God gives us certain gifts, and I'm
Sure.
able to discern certain things, and not all things have to be spoken. So perhaps this entity knew that I had that gift even as a child, and knew that I could see it.
Interesting, very interesting. I'll give you the last word. I find it interesting that when you gave your life to Christ, the whole thing just went away. I love that. There's power in his name. People don't understand that. There's power in his name.
I think my last words were that I have never poo-hooed anybody who had a childhood. There's a monster under the bed. Children can often see things.
Yes.
That because they have this soft spirit, yet they don't know this really strong right or wrong, and they're very impressionable. And I have never dismissed anyone who said they had seen things in the dark, because our eyes don't work in the dark. So to see things is supernatural. And I think if people's children are complaining that there's monsters in the cupboard, monsters under the bed, there's something out the window, take them seriously.
Right, exactly. I agree. Wow, Donna, what a great testimony. Unnerving, but what I love about this platform is it's like there are probably hundreds of thousands, millions of people out there that brother and sister, themselves, whatever, they've gone through it. And that's what I love about this, because now they realize that, wait a minute, I'm not alone. Somebody else had a very similar experience like this. So thanks so much for coming on the record. Really appreciate it.
This is the first time I've ever spoken about Peaky Bones. Only my parents have ever known about Peaky Bones.
Well, thank you for being bold, daring, and courageous. I really appreciate it. And before I go, let me just say, folks, that we will be in Oklahoma at the Prophecy Watchers Conference. That's coming up soon. I'll be speaking twice on Friday, and then it's off to Israel we go. So if you've got a supernatural confrontation, supernatural at lamarzulli.net, supernatural at lamarzulli.net. Big announcement, we've got the Out of Place Artifact DVD. It's finished. It's in pre-production. We are doing our typical pre-sale. This is number 8 in the On the Trail of the Nephilim series. Of course, our Cat of Mutilation series is now shipping. So lots going on here, folks. We are working, trying to keep the body of Messiah and others informed of what reality that we are in very unprecedented times. Thanks so much for watching. Remember, the supernatural world is real, and sometimes it manifests to people like you and me. Thanks for watching.